if we could fast track towards towards it to the end of your career and um, the beginning of this, I think it's fair to say a self-professed obsession with detailing and vehicles and cars and all that.
Okay. So very, very long story short, I tried to transfer to the intelligence corps, which was one of my initial choices, at selection. I got blocked. First time paperwork was lost, apparently, then it was blocked, etc., etc. So anyway, I knew my time was over. So I got back from Afghanistan with, for the first time in my life, as a 21-year-old guy, with a big lump sum of money because one, I couldn't spend it all, and two, I got a little bit of money. So literally 7 months being away, all money saved. I got back and I've always said to myself, I'm going to buy myself a nice car. That was just me. So I got back. I knew that I wasn't getting transferred. So I thought, you know what? I can see the kind of end line of my life here already. Got back to Northern Ireland, went to Belfast Audi, which at the time I was doing a bit of research on Auto Trader as and when I had a bit of kind of signal, which is a bit tough, but still. And I knew there was a car available, basically like it was a brand new Audi S5, but like an X demo, so it was on show and stuff like that. So brand new in a sense that you can imagine. Literally, I got back, my car was dead. 7 months in rain, so the battery was flat, car was moldy, etc.
Hmm.
Um, Went in, I dropped all that cash on a brand new Audi S5, no finance, no nothing. And I got back, and I literally, like that same night, I just YouTubed how to look after your car or how to clean your car, whichever search term it was. But you get the idea. And my whole life changed with one search.
Really?
Yeah, very
Was it just
strange.
a moment of being wow?
I always appreciated cars. This is where obviously I'm missing a lot into the timeline, of when I was younger and all this. Like, I'm sure every
Yeah,
man
yeah.
appreciates a nice car. It doesn't mean they're car guys, but if you see a nice car roll down the street, you're like, that's quite nice. So I was always one of them people. I just never had the means to buy one.
Mm.
So
Okay, so then after putting that money down, I suppose then realizing what you actually have, and you're like, wow, okay, this is obviously very expensive, but you want to look after this thing. And then you then going to YouTube or whatever searching how can you look after this or however to protect it, whatever the case is. And was it just like was there a lot of content out there at that time? Was there a lot of information? And was it just like an instant, I suppose, light bulb of going, wow, this is actually fascinating. I am, yeah, enthralled by this.
yeah, that was 2013. So YouTube wasn't like brand new. So there was still content out there, not as much as there is now, of course, but there was enough content to get me kind of
Yeah.
going. So yeah,
Okay. And that
yeah,
started it. So that is, did you just start consuming all content and then purchasing things, buying things, testing things?
yeah. So I've got like, unfortunately, I've got an addictive personality. If I want to be lazy,
Okay.
trust me, I'm the laziest person in the world. I can be the biggest, you know, kind of slob imaginable if I don't like something. But if I do like something, this is where my extremism kind of comes in. At the time, like I said, was I consuming content? Literally, my lunch hour at work, my evenings. So imagine I'm 21, 22-year old. I should be doing other things with my life, right? At that age, especially with a nice car, I should be out driving, all that type of stuff. Nope, I was on my bed and I was literally just watching I found it so interesting. It's weird because I never did like in that way. And I just hours, hundreds of hours of content. So strange.
Wow. That must have been very strange. Did that sort of, was there a question in your mind that thinking this is something I could potentially pursue or do because you've never had that, I suppose, obsession take over like that before? Was it something that like I want to do this for the rest of my life? I want to somehow, some way make this a part of my everyday?
Never. Business never even crossed my mind, which is even stranger.
Okay. Did you have any? Was it? It was. Did you have any sort of other business inklings before? Or was it just military, and then you were just cars and detailing and looking after it, and it was just that was the obsession at that time,
I mean, what you
purely.
said, yeah, at that time, that was probably the obsession at that time frame. I've always, again, with the example I gave about every man appreciates a decent car. I think also every person, this is male and female, wants to earn more money and be their own boss. That dream life and all that type of stuff. So again, I think everybody has that in the back of their heads somewhere in whatever capacity. And I had it in my head, I thought maybe one day I'll save a bit of money and do something. I didn't know what it was. And that's literally probably at the time as far as the thought ever went.
Okay, and then if we go to the point where it started turning in that direction, how did that go? Were you detailing your own vehicle, friends' vehicles, and then either started making money from that, or how did it transition to the point where you're like, oh, this is something I could potentially pursue as a business venture and make money out of it and enjoy it at the same time?
Yeah, so when I was still in Northern Ireland, I think even though the military is a low paid job, everything is subsidized. So I think my take home pay at that point, including the bonus of being in Northern Ireland, I was taking home after all my expenses about £1,800 a month, which at 21, 22 is not bad, I must admit. And
Yeah.
the fact that I don't go out, I don't drink. So it was basically just play money for me. So honestly, a good £1,000 a month was going on just investment into this whole obsession. It was products, everything. It was honestly, I kid you not, it was actually really bad. But that's again addictive personality. Um,
Did
and then
anyone sit you down and be like, hey, let's not waste this much money on these things, or did kind of they just leave you to
that left me to it. In the military, it's people literally
it?
throw money
Yeah.
up the wall. So I was one of the good ones, let's just say that. And I just literally
Okay.
started. I had a roommate and I said, look, can I wash your car? Then the word spread and I was charging 10, £20. It was literally not even to make money. I was just not even covering the cost of the product anyway. And it got round and I think I probably detailed everybody's car on base at one point. So include my superior officers, which is strange because there's a rank structure involved. But on weekends, I was washing their cars. And then I got all the kits. I transferred eventually to down south. I was based in Aldershot, so Hampshire. I had a different car at that point, another financially irresponsible decision. This is like fast forwarding so many years. I had a bit of an accident. And at this point, I thought, right, my parents live in the northeast of England. So from Hampshire on a good day on a Friday, it could take you 5, 6 hours to drive. So basically, the body shop did a good job on my car, but it wasn't perfect like it was before it had the crash. So I had two options: drive home for the
Mm.
weekend and basically do like a paint polishing thing on everything that was, body shop spec. Or there was a company, one of the bigger retailers within this industry right now. They were literally across the road in Aldershot. And I approached them and I basically said, look, you know me from kind of the forums and the name dropping and all that type of stuff. Can I basically borrow your studio to polish my own car? Which was looking back on it, that was a very, very cheeky request, very cheeky. As a business owner now, that's very cheeky. And I said, on top of that, the job that I do right now, which was recruiting for the military, the rule was if you're not working, you are not coming in kind of in the office. And luckily for us, sometimes our recruitment drives were 2, 3 weeks apart. So for 2, 3 weeks, and Kelly can attest to this, I did no work. Like literally, I was sat in my room. So I offered this company my services. I know it was free money, right? So I
Yeah,
basically
that
said,
sounds pretty good.
so I said, can I please come work for you for free? I don't want no money. I don't want no pain and product. I just want to come. And this is where, again, addictive personality and the passion kind of side of things. Nobody would do that for free. But I said, look, I want to do it for free. And basically, I learned to polish at a more professional, faster level, let's just say. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And is it so at that point you are working for the military still and you've started venturing into more of the uh, intricacies of detailing and all that kind of stuff? Where did it cross over from then going into that full time? Did you go from when you eventually retired from the military straight into starting Yam Cars, or was there various other things in between that?
Well, probably a year and a half prior to the story I told you, a lot of people saying, "Look, like you are weird." You know, like all my friends and acquaintances saying, like, if you don't do this as a business, you'd be stupid. Like you can't go and work at Tesco now or something. So that idea was in my head,
Yeah.
and it got to a point. You just need to do a basic search, how to start a business, and there are so many intricacies and legalities that need to be done from somebody who's never owned a business. I thought, oh my God, I've got no support. Kelly knows nothing about business. My parents are in a service based kind of business, which I believe is a little bit easier than when you're talking retail and stuff like that, because there's less problems when you just deal with people. So I was on and off for years. And then one day Kelly said, Nick, you're leaving the army. Why don't you just go and start this, this business and we'll somehow make it work? So I did what nobody else should ever do in business. I left probably the most secure job on the planet, right? There's only one way you leave that job, and you know which way that is, right? Um,
Mm,
and Kelly was at that point, 11 and a half years in, she was the fastest promoting female to become a sergeant in her time. So she was like, she's good, yeah, very good.
wow.
So she started to ease off anyway because she knew she was going out. But by the 12-year point, which is like a big anniversary in the military, it's like your half pension. She could have been, a higher rank even before she left. So she knew she was going out. I left a little bit earlier because, again, the military threw a spanner in the works as they always do. And literally, I literally, I left like I was in jail. Right, I left with a t-shirt on my back, a little bag like this big, and I was literally out of the gate, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden I was a civilian again. And it was all a rush. I moved up to the Midlands where our first kind of premises was. We had to sign for it, money down. So literally, I moved into an area I knew nobody apart from Kelly's mum and brother, where I've had no existing client base. We had no social media. We had zero. So I was literally starting with a blank sheet and a little bit of money saved. And we opened the doors. Like literally, we said, let's go somehow.